Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you are fine. I'm going to explain the remaining questions of this worksheet. So, the first question is the fractional distillation operator shown is being used to separate mixture of two liquids. A thermometer is missing from this apparatus. Where should be the bulb of thermometer be placed? So, it's very simple that thermometer bulb should be at B point because the position of thermometer is exactly in front of condenser from where vapors move. So basically thermometer identified those vapors which are which having low boiling point. So the vapors which are come through this fractionating column at the B point, they are detected by a thermometer. So this is how the temperature of this system is maintained. It should not be at A point because at A point it's very above, very high. Maybe the vapors they do not approach that point. They directly move to the tunnel from the tunnel, the exterior of the Libby condenser. So is not the position where thermometer should be placed, and at the point C it's very below. Maybe it has higher temperature or some sort of water molecules, the traces of water molecules should be present, so which may detect by thermometer. So B is the position where thermometer bulb should be placed. So next question, how many of the molecules shown contain only one covalent bond? So a covalent bond is consists of two electrons. Whenever two electrons are shared, they form one covalent bond. So in this case, chlorine, hydrogen and HCl, they form one covalent bond, because in the case of chlorine, you see that in the case of chlorine, it has 7 electron in outermost shell. The seventh electron is unpaired, shared by which is shared by another chlorine in order to form covalent bond. So this is how whenever two electrons are shared, they form one covalent bond, a single covalent bond. Same in the case of nitrogen. Same in the case of hydrogen. Hydrogen has one electron in outermost shell. It should complete its duplet, so it shared one electron with another hydrogen. So whenever two electrons are shared, they form one covalent bond. Same in the case of HCl. In the case of chlorine, it has seventh unpaired electron, which is unpaired. It is shared with hydrogen in order to form covalent bond, in order to complete its octet, it must share one seventh electron with hydrogen. So that's why they form single covalent bond. But in the case of nitrogen and oxygen, they form 3 and 2 covalent bond respectively. In the case of nitrogen, it has 5 electron in outermost shell. These in 5 electrons, the 3 because it need 3 electrons to complete its octet. So when these 3 unpaired electrons they shared with another nitrogen, now its octet is completed. It has both of the nitrogen, they are complete, they have complete their octet shell. So there are, you see that three three electrons are shared, three pairs of electrons are shared, so they have three covalent bond, and these electrons, they are called non-bonded electrons, non-bonded electron pair. It is also called a lone pair. It is also called lone pair. It is not participate in covalent bonding, and these are called bonding pairs. Nitrogen molecule has three bonding pair, and one bonding pair is also called a covalent bond. So nitrogen has three covalent bond. It has three bonding pairs. Overall, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pairs of electrons are present in a nitrogen molecule. Whenever examiner asks how many pair of electrons are present in nitrogen molecule, you write 5, and in out of 5 pairs, how many bonded pair of electrons? There are three bonding pair. And how many non-bonding electron pair? There are two non-bonding electron pair in nitrogen molecule. Similarly, in the case of oxygen also consists of two covalent bond, because in the case of oxygen, it has 6 electron in outermost shell, and it required two more electrons. So when the two electrons, they shared their electron with next oxygen, their octet must be complete. So in this case, oxygen molecule have 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 4 lone pair. Oxygen molecule contain 4 lone pair and 2 bond pair. Oxygen have total 6 electron pair, in which 2 are bonding pair and 4 are lone pair. We can say that oxygen have 2 covalent bond. So it's very simple. So let's come to the question: how many of the molecules contain only one covalent bond? So it's very simple: 1 2 3. The first 3 are the examples. So right answer is B. A particle contain 34 protons, 45 neutrons, and 36 electrons. Which symbol is correct for this particle? You see that protons are lesser than that of electrons. There are 2 extra electrons, so that's why the symbol must contain 2 minus charge. So it cannot be the right answer. B is not the right answer. D is not the right answer. C is the right answer because there is 2 minus charge due to 2 extra electrons, and rest of the particles are exactly the same. So C is the right answer. For 24, which molecule contains 3 shared pair of electrons between 2 of its atoms? So shared pair of electrons consists 3 shared pair of the bonded paired are also called shared pair of electrons. Shared pair of electrons and bond pair of electrons, they are the same thing. They are synonyms. So here is the example: carbon dioxide. You see, in the case of carbon dioxide, let's start 3 shared pair of electrons. So let me start. In the case of carbon dioxide, you see that this is the structure of carbon dioxide, which is, it has 4 electrons outermost shell. It combine with oxygen, you see that one pair of electron, one shared pair, second, third, and fourth. There are four shared pair of electrons in the case of oxygen, so it is not the right answer. Uh, in the case of methane, in the case of C2H4, C2H4. When you draw the structure of this compound, it has uh, carbon has, you all know that carbon has 4 electron in outermost shell. So there are 4 hydrogen. One hydrogen is associated with two hydrogens is associated with one carbon in this case, and similarly there is a next carbon and 2 hydrogen are associated with another carbon. So but in the case, but carbon, they have 4 electron in outermost shell, so there are 3. One electron is unpaired, so we write these: one electron from this carbon, carbon A, and carbon B, one electron from this. So there are one shared pair electron, two shared pair electron, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 shared paired electrons, so it is not the right answer. So A and B, they cannot take place. In the case of C, it's very simple. Two hydrogen are associated with oxygen, so it has 2 shared paired electrons, so C is not the right answer, so D is the right answer. In the case of nitrogen, you know that nitrogen form 3 covalent bond. In the case of nitrogen, it forms 3 covalent bonds. Let me erase. Okay. So in the case of nitrogen, it forms 3 covalent bonds, so it has 3 shared paired electron. So D is the right answer. What happens when sodium chloride melts? Covalent bond in a giant lattice are broken. Sodium chloride is a ionic compound. It do not have any covalent bond, so A is not the right answer. Electrons are released, not. Electrons released when sodium metal is react with any other element, any non-metal. The electrons of sodium are already released. So when it melting is a physical phenomena. In melting, electrons do not release. Electrostatic force of attraction between ions are overcome. Yes, C is the right answer. Basically, what happens that whenever you whenever ionic compound is heated, basically ionic compound have a giant structure, giant crystal lattice. There is a crystal lattice structure of sodium chloride in which one positive ion and negative ion, positive ion. There is a strong electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force, ESF. It's very powerful force. Whenever you melt, whenever you heat the anionic compound, what happens basically? That heat is basically overcomes these electrostatic force. When heat overcome these electrostatic force, the electrostatic forces are weakened. Still there are electrostatic forces are present, but weak forces. Now strong forces are converted into weak forces because heat is basically overcome these forces. Whenever you maintain the temperature, for example, sodium chloride has melting point 800 degrees Celsius approximately. Whenever you maintain that 800 degrees Celsius, due to very high heat, very high kinetic energy, heat still overcome the electrostatic forces of attraction, and still ions are there are little bit far apart from each other, little bit, not completely. So this is the right answer, that heat basically overcome the electrostatic force of attraction. And when the heat is removed, these ions, positive and negative ions, again attract each other, and again it solidify and make a crystal just like before. So molecules are separate. D is not the right answer, so C is the right answer. Which substance has metallic bonding? You know that the metals, they conduct when they are solid, they conduct electricity when they are liquid, because in the case of metal, they have free electrons. It doesn't matter they are solid or they are in liquid form, because mercury is the only liquid metal. It also conduct electricity. So A is the right answer, because in this case gas metals, they do not exist. Gas state of product formed on reaction with oxygen. Whenever they react with oxygen, they form oxide, and all the metallic oxides are solid. All the metallic oxides are solid. All the salts are solid. Alkalis are solid. They do not exist as gas or liquid at room temperature. All the alkalis, all the metallic oxides are solid. But all the acids, they are in gaseous form. It's very important concept. All the acids, they are in gaseous form. The only acid in liquid form is HF, hydrofluoric acid. Except HF, all the acids are in gaseous form. But in the case of the metallic oxides, because whenever metal react with oxygen, they form metallic oxides, which is a base. All the bases are solid. So A is the right answer. Which compound contain only 8 covalent bond? So I've already explained that whenever two atoms are combined, two electrons are combined, sorry, they form one covalent bond. So which compound contain only 8 covalent bonds? So let's do this. In this question, you need to know that the bond between carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So let's start. The first is in first example, here is carbon has valency 4, 1, 2. There must be 2 hydrogen in this carbon, and there must be 2 hydrogen in this carbon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 covalent bond in this case. So it is not the possibility. A is not the possibility. In the case of B option, in the case of B option, what happens? There is this group. In this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this case, B option, 1, 2, because in this carbon 2 hydrogens are attached, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 covalent bond. In the case of this compound, we have discussed, we will discuss this compound inshallah in organic chemistry. So B is the right answer. In the case of C and D, these are the not right answers. B is the right answer. 28. Gas cylinder is placed in each of the four corners of square room. Each cylinder contain a different gas stored under same pressure. The gases are released at exactly same time. Which gas will reach the center of the room first? Ammonia, in the case of ammonia. And this question is about diffusion, and diffusion is depend upon the relative molecular mass. Greater the molecular mass, lesser the rate of diffusion. So in each case you need to know the primarily you need to know the molecular masses of all the options. So chlorine, straight away chlorine has molecular weight 71, which is very high. I think it's in these options the most high molecular mass is of the compound element molecule is chlorine. In the case of ammonia, ammonia has molecular mass 17. In the case of argon, carbon monoxide has 16 plus 12, 28. Ammonia has 17. In the case of argon, let's check the mass of argon. In the case of argon, it has mass 40. So the right answer is ammonia. Ammonia is the right answer because it has ammonia is the right answer because it has molecular mass 17, which is very low. So it diffuses at faster rate. 29. Calcium carbonate react with hydrochloric acid producing carbon dioxide gas. The rate of reaction can be measured using operators shown. Which additional piece of operators is also required? So it's very simple. In order to measure the rate of reaction, we need a clock because time is necessary in order to measure the rate of reaction. So in the case of this MCQs, what is the correct sequence of obtaining pure salt from a mixture of sand and salt? Sand and salt is soluble in water, so add water, evaporate. No, add water and filter. Yes, add water. In this case, if you add water, obtaining pure salt from mixture, add water and filter. When you filter, you may obtain sand, but you cannot obtain pure salt because water is still present in filtrate. Mix in water. So add water, filter and evaporate. Yes, C is the right answer. You need to add water. When you add water, all the salt is dissolved in water, and then filter. By filtration, the sand particles, they remain upstairs as a residue, and then evaporation takes place, evaporation to dryness, in order to collect the salt. 31. The diagram shows the structure of which element in third period? So in periodic table, the third period, uh, the element which has this giant structure, aluminum is not associated in the giant structure, magnesium is not associated in giant structure. So right answer is silicon. You easily check the periodic table, it is belong to third period, silicon. 32. The table contains information on the structure of four particles. What are the values of W, X, Y and Z? It's very simple question. The first particle magnesium, which has 12 protons and 12 number of proton number is 12 and number of protons is also 12. Number of neutrons, because magnesium has Mr or Ar 24, so when you minus 12 24 minus 12, we have answered 12, exactly 12, because uh, it give you answer 12. So that's why number of neutrons usually calculate, because now in order to calculate number of neutrons you simply uh, minus proton number from AR. In the case of Mg2 plus, the value of electrons, because it is in 2 plus form, so 2 electrons are being removed, so the number of electrons is 10. In the case of F is an atom. Y, number of protons and proton number is the same entity, so 9 is the Y should be is equal to Y, 9. And F minus 1, number of electrons, because it's the minus 1, so it must have extra electron, so number of electrons should be Z is equal to 10. So B is the right answer. It's very simple. 33. Which element describe ionic bonding? A lattice of ions in a sea of electrons. In the ionic bonding, it is basically electrostatic force of attraction. Lattice of ions in a sea of electrons. Ions are not loose in ionic bonding. Ions are tightly packed. So electrostatic force of attraction between oppositely charged ions. B is the right answer. 34. Why does ammonia gas diffuse faster than hydrogen chloride gas? Because ammonia has less molecular mass. So D is the right answer. Relative molecular mass of ammonia is smaller. 35. An atom of element Z has 14 neutrons and 13 protons. It forms a positive ion. How many electrons does the ion of Z have? Number of atom of element has 14 neutrons and 13 protons. So 14 plus 13, 27. It forms a positive ion. It is aluminium, because aluminium has mass number 27. How many electrons does the ion of Z have? So Z have electrons. Ion, if it is ion, it must lose 3 electrons. The AR of aluminium is 13. After losing 3 electrons, now it have 10 electrons. So is the right answer, because aluminium has proton number 13, so it must have 13 electrons. So after losing electrons, in order to complete its octet, it must lose 3 electrons. So A is the right answer. Let me explain this question. If some students have some issues, like aluminium, in the case of aluminium, it has electronic configuration 283. When it lose 3 electrons, because it may lose 3 electrons in order to complete its octet, so when it lose 3 electrons, the left electrons they remain 10. So that's why A is the right answer. 36. Which gas is neither an element nor a compound? So it's very simple. Air. Air is neither an element nor a compound. We can say it's a gas, but it's a mixture of gas. 37. The compound formed between element X and Y is ionic. Which statement about element X and Y correct? X and Y are both left hand side. No, it's the wrong option. X and Y, if they are in left hand side of periodic table, they should be metals, and metals they do not react. Metals they do not react. X and Y are both at the right side of the periodic table. If they are right side of periodic table, they are non-metals, and whenever non-metals react with non-metals, they are covalent, not ionic. X and Y are both transition elements. Transition elements are also metals, and metals they do not react chemically. X is at the opposite side of periodic table from element Y. Yes, D is the right answer. If X are the metals, then they are in left side, and Y is the non-metal. present in right side, opposite to each other. 38. How many electrons are used in covalent bonding in nitrogen molecule? How many electrons are used in covalent? There are 6 electrons because they have 3 shared paired electron. Each shared paired electron consists of 2 electrons, so nitrogen must have 6 electrons which are used in covalent bonding. 39. Which diagram correctly shows the arrangement of ions in solid sodium chloride? In the first section of this worksheet, I have explained the structure of sodium chloride, the lattice of sodium chloride, in which I told you that Na plus, whenever a crystal lattice structure is electrostatic structure, crystal lattice structure of NaCl is arranged in such a way that Na plus ion is surrounded by chloride ions and chloride ions are surrounded by Na plus ions. So one Na, if there is one Na in the option A, there is one Na plus, then Cl minus, then Na plus, then Cl minus. To say two ions with same charges, they do not takes place. They do not lie in a same plane with same charges, because same charges they repel each other. In every option except A, B, C and D, in the case of B, there are two sodium ions side by side. It it is not possible, because same ions, whenever they are present side by side, they must repel each other. So B, C and D is not the right options. A is the right answer. So this is how we finish this worksheet. You, if you have some questions regarding this worksheet, let me know that, so that I will arrange the class on Zoom app. Jazakallah.